Hello, this is me and Ben's review of our draft video.
This will also be a just a quick preview of how our editing decisions are going to be made, which we will try to incorporate in the final video. So it's a rough idea. Okay, so in this first shot, we tried to emphasize the fact that even though we didn't exactly have an establishing shot, this sort of is our establishing shot, and the fact that you can see the scene and where it's set, because we don't want to give too much away in fact the location, because it's quite a big part of the video later on. The zooming effect also emphasizes the fact that the main focus of the video probably will be on this board, which it could sort of foreshadow.
And also the fact that the characters, the main focus of this, we need this character to be very important for the next scene, and we sort of wanted to have him in the forefront of the shot rather than in the background.
Okay, so in this next sequence of shots, we wanted quite a slow pace of editing, since it was obviously one of the main openings to the film. We didn't want to hit the audience with just a sudden sort of dramatic, quick pace of editing, which it wouldn't fit, because we're trying to slowly introduce the audience to this sort of creepy sort of idea. We felt that in this shot that you see with the hammer, we decided we're going to refilm this after showing it to some test audience, because one of their feedback was that it looked unnatural. But I do feel that the slow pace of editing will be used in the final shot.
And the hammer we used to obviously connote violence and primal sort of like actions, because obviously it's quite a sort of like violent masculine thing, and also it's foreshadowing of later events in the piece.
Okay, so the close-up of the photo you could just see there, obviously starting to get into the nitty-gritty details. You see me, and obviously having the hammer, the close-ups just adds sort of more of a tense sort of feeling that something bad is going to happen. Okay, so here we started to try a different range of shots. Here you can see a tracking shot of the tape. This is quite hard to film, but we felt it really sort of helped the flow of the film altogether.
Also the actions that we did, particularly wanted to focus on the ripping of the tape. That was because that felt like quite a primal action. We sort of wanted to further connect with this character is not going to be like the nicest guy in the world.
So again, the fact that most of the shots are done quite slowly, such as the actions of moving the table together and sticking the photo up done slowly, would fail. A slower pace of editing would also fit well with this, because if there was a quick pace of editing, obviously it wouldn't go along with what was in the shot. Okay, so as you can see, the title sort of messed up a little bit. We're not entirely sure what happened there. Just something in the saving process, which will be sorted out in the final version. Now, as you can probably tell here, the pace of editing quickens up a little bit. We tried to incorporate this into the music. Now, as you can probably tell, the music, the pace of the music increases. So we thought also a pace of editing would go well with this. As we said in a previous video, we tried to fit the film to the music instead of the music to the film, as it just made more sense and it was easier for us.
And also one of the shots we're going to have to refilm is particularly on the hand, because we have to brighten it post-production, so it's got a lot of noise in it, because the shot already had a lot of noise in it, so that will have to be refilmed. During this shot we particularly chose to use a slow pace of editing again. We wanted to use this because it sort of created an atmosphere and made it really eerie, and a lot of the actions are sort of like quite like normal actions of what you see. So we wanted to kind of make it creepy rather than just, oh, this person's ripping some paper, or this person's making a letter. And I think this really helped create an atmosphere and, you know, like sort of made the entire like piece tense, kind of like almost uncomfortable to watch because of the editing and how we chose to shoot this certain shots, because they just seem really creepy and eerie and that sort of stuff. Yeah, the music as well is sort of quite slow paced here.
Okay, so the brief stated that we follow a tried wide range of shots. So again, this was a tracking shot. This proved to be very hard because, as you can probably imagine, any slight movement or judder of the camera whilst tracking or panning down would cause a big problem because you would see it obviously on the screen. Since this was the last shot before we went to the next scene outside, we didn't really have to worry about editing apart from titles. Now, as you can tell, the titles are a bit different in this one because obviously in the others we've all had the titles of text over. However, in this one our names were underneath where it says director. Now, I was worried that this might cause a bit of confusion since they're not together and they're not the same as the others. However, after showing the video to some audience, they didn't find a problem, so we decided to keep it in, and they commented it was actually quite a good effect and actually quite liked it.
During this next sequence, we chose to use, we wanted to create a difference between the characters. So obviously Ben's character is quite like sort of it's all like fast-paced movements. He's running. He's just sort of like, it shows he's quite scared. Whereas I'm more calm and like walking to show that I've sort of also got more dominance over Ben during this shot as well.
As to music, obviously we've kept the same background music. We've just added a heartbeat in the background. This also creates tension, and obviously it's non-diegetic sound. Obviously we can't have a real heartbeat because it's not loud enough, obviously. I think we'd have a few problems if it was. But by adding the non-diegetic sound in there, it just sort of adds to the effect and creates the build-up of tension.
During this next sequence, we want to use a range of shots to show that, like, to sort of establish the place almost, and also we chose to use a point of view shot because we wanted the audience to empathise with the character, and we also use a slow pace of editing.
So this pull focus shot gives you the first idea that I'm actually going towards a garage. So you see the lock on the side of the door, which then goes into full focus shot of me running towards the garage. We felt that the tracking shot that you also see of me running towards the garage is sort of, again, as said before, was an establishing shot because it's giving you the idea that, again, I'm moving towards this area. As for the closing of the door, we felt that a extreme close-up or very close-up of my hand actually sort of moving the door and having the camera following that, not tracking but actually moving with the hand, so the camera was actually moving backwards as well. Before that would just give it like a really good effect in the fact that you're almost there, the audience feel that they're there and can actually interact because it gets so close to the action, it feels like it's actually happening. So once we actually get inside the garage, you notice there is a change in the music. This was done intentionally. As we said, we tried to film it to the music. There's a definite sort of change in sound. It's a lower tone, but it's sort of more frequent. So it's more sort of eerie as in like what is happening. It's not fast paced. It's still there, which still gets attention, but you get this slower pace thing coming in also. Now in these next couple of shots we tried some different camera techniques. This was a tracking shot, well not a tracking shot, as I was walking forward towards the camera would actually move back with me. This just sort of felt that it gave it a sense of movement and the fact that there was life in this garage and things were moving forward and I was sort of starting to discover what was happening. Now the extreme close-up or the close-up allows you to see facial features, which allowed me to look scared and intrigued by what I was actually looking at. So we then decided to go to this point of view shot, which sort of allowed the audience to feel as if they were me and sort of feel the situation that I was in whilst looking at these photos. Originally we had the idea to split these clips up, so we would film them individually, going from each photo, so from one photo to another. We decided while filming it would be a lot better just to have it simultaneously moving. It just adds that sort of extra bit of tension and we didn't have to edit it, and obviously there was no pace of editing because it was all in one shot. So we didn't want to change the pace of editing. We felt it was fine as it was. So here we go to a completely different change in music. We go to a sort of a low drone sound. Kind of sounds like it's anticipation more than more anticipation in this sort of music than the last one used. The editing is also fairly slow as well. Now at the very end we get a completely different sound, the Bwong sound, which suggests this is the end, it's all finished, and it leaves everything down to audience imagination.